And it's News Night here on Metro TV. Welcome at 7 p.m. You're welcome to the news here from the Akua Boahima studio. We're live from the studio and we're also live on Facebook. Is Metro TV Ghana. On Instagram and Twitter is Metro TV GH. I am Ania from Pofo. Follow us also on DSTV channel 277. And now the headlines.
Hello.
Transport unions in crunch consultations with stakeholders over possible increment in transport fares following President Akufo-Addo's claims that taxes on fuel can't be scrapped now. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, raises red flags over rising activities of terrorist groups despite current national and regional effort to combat the trend. Communication expert rubbishes government's claim that Ghana's poor showing in the recent press freedom ranking is due to change in methodology. And on international front, Iraq engulfed by dust storm, which has left many hospitalized and flights grounded. And other stories in detail. Transport unions have been in crunch meetings with other stakeholders over possible increment in transport fares. Now, the operators say they must increase transport fares to save their businesses. The announcement by driver unions, the Ghana Road Transport Union, comes after the comments by President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo during the May Day celebration that governments cannot do anything about the demands by the organized labor and the transport unions for the reduction of fuel prices in the country. The union has since described the president's comments as unfortunate. Now, joining us on phone for more is the Industrial Relations Officer for GPRT, Alhaji Abbas Moro, for more on this development. Alhaji, thank you for your time. You're welcome to News Night. What has been or become of the outcome of the meeting you just held, please?
We internally we are trying to make sure we catch up with the speed of the fuel increments. You know, fuel plays about 70% in transport operating, and the speed at which the fuel prices are swelling up, we are getting ready to make sure we do something to catch up with it. Some time back, we put up a suggestion of some of these taxes to be taken off. The workers, they were made to understand by the president that none of these taxes is going to be taken off, and we found that to be unfortunate. We weren't happy with that at all, because we know in the country every worker must pay tax, but do we have to tax only one organization? If the answer is no, then that is where the unfortunate situation is coming from, because we are aware many people are working in different organizations without paying taxes. We paid about 11 to 12 taxes, margins and levies on fuel. Alongside, we've been paying taxes on the vehicles we use as well. So if we are the only people to pay more taxes than any other people, we have the right to complain as well. We never said taxes should not be taken from us, but the net should be widened so that other people could also pay some of these taxes, so that we all move the nation forward. In any case, we've seen that government has very little to do in reducing the fuel prices. So we are now ready to make sure burden sharing takes place. When the prices climb, we'll also be chasing the prices with new lorry fares. So this is the long and short of the existing story.
They did have to take the president to say that he will not he will not remove the taxes before reality hits you that the business was crumbling due to the expensive fuel that we're buying?
No, not at all. We were already prepared before these holidays also came in, and within this shortest possible time, we don't run transport with only fuel. We run transport with fuel and other components. And the rate at which prices of items are shoot up, we are revisiting the market to find out some of these spare parts, the prices, and some of the lubricants, so that this will inform us on the exact percentage we should map with. So we're not exactly waiting for the president to say something before we come up with something.
Okay, so what was the outcome of the meeting? Are we expecting another percentage of increase anytime soon? I know you increased it by, is it 10% not too long ago?
Please, as long as the fuel prices keep swelling up, we're also going to get ready and come up with a reasonable percentage. I don't want to preempt, but definitely by next week you'll hear from us.
Right. Abatimiro, thank you for your time. We definitely will keep in touch with you to see what you reasonably come up with. Now, let's do some more stories. And ECOWAS says it is alarmed at the activities of extremist organizations and terrorist groups are doing, and it's actually on the rise despite current national, regional efforts to combat the trend. Now, speaking at an ECOWAS Defense Chiefs meeting in Accra, Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwul said in the fight that is in the first quarter of 2022 alone, over 800 terrorist attacks resulted in deaths of over 2,480 people in the sub-region.
Continue to remain volatile and violent extremist activities. This is said to have triggered insurrections in some countries. In the past 3 years, about 5,306 terrorist attacks have occurred, and some 16,726 lives have been lost through these attacks.
No. Run down! Run when you're no!
Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwul, who was addressing ECOWAS Chiefs of Defense Staff in Accra, said maintenance of peace and security in the ECOWAS sub-region remains a critical challenge. He was worried, despite national and regional efforts to combat the trend, the activities of violent extremist organizations and terrorist armed groups have increased tremendously.
Terrorist activities have assumed cross-border dimensions with far-reaching implications for civilian societies, regional security, and global peace and development. It is reported that over the past 3 years, there have been about 5,306 terror-related attacks within the sub-region, claiming over 16,726 lives, with several thousands injured and millions of our people displaced and living under austere circumstances.
He said the threat, both on land and maritime domain, continues to transcend borders and are occurring at a time when Africa has assumed greater importance in global socio-economic development. He therefore called for concrete steps and actions to galvanize support for countries fighting extremists.
I urge you to protect the decisions taken by the people and ensure that the people get the opportunity to choose their leaders. Let the people choose their leaders, and let the people decide who will lead them. is your duty to protect the will of the people. And so I will urge all of you, to work very hard with your various security agencies and hold trust what the people have given you.
The extraordinary meeting of the ECOWAS Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff is aimed at strategizing against terrorism and other related violence in the ECOWAS sub-region.
Are we safe here?
Yes, we're very safe.
Let's now get onto the Zoom and speak to Executive Director at the West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism, Mutaru Mumuni Muktha, on this development. Thank you for your time, sir, and good evening to you. Welcome to Newsnight. Ghana has actually, performed well in the latest, security index that came about, how peace has been kept as far as the country is concerned. But I think what people will be most concerned in is the worry expressed by our minister at this ECOWAS meeting. How safe is Ghana?
Thank you very much. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, please.
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity, and good evening to you and your viewers. Yes, of course, it is very, very attractive for us to continue to project ourselves, Ghana, as a country that is peaceful and stable within a region of violence and instability. But in the last 4 or 5 years, we have been put in a situation that has undermined significantly our security situation. Ghana has never been more vulnerable than it is right now. We are confronted with the challenge of violent extremism descending from from the Sahel towards coastal states in the last 3 or 4 years. And we are at the same time ambushed by pirates from the Gulf of Guinea in the south of our country. In both east and west of our country, we have extremist attacks that are constantly targeting Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, and in the north, Burkina Faso. So we are encircled by insecurity of unprecedented proportion. If you listen to security briefs, you would know that the Gulf of Guinea has become one of the deadliest waters globally, not just within the sub-region. And so we are in a very, very precarious situation. You hear the minister highlight the issues and talk about attacks and fatalities. Of course, in 2014, we recorded, a peak in terms of terrorism fatalities, recording over 7,000 fatalities within the region. And now the numbers are down, but in the last 2 years, we are beginning to see a significant complexity in the violence, the terrorist violence within the sub-region. It is moving towards coastal states, towards south, at the same time moving westward. And what we noticed is that there's a big phenomenon of spillover. The spillover phenomenon is very, very pervasive. Today, as we speak in Burkina Faso, what is happening? It is the effect of the spillover from Mali. We currently have attacks in the northern border of Benin and Togo, as well as Côte d'Ivoire. And all this are a product of the spillover phenomenon we're talking about. And so we are increasingly concerned about what is happening with our borders, especially in the northern part of our border. And there's a report by the Global Terrorism Index that reveals that over 76%, actually is 96% of all terrorism fatalities 2021 and 2020 happened in countries that are already in conflict situations. And so the existence of unresolved conflicts like we have in Baku and in many parts of the northern part of the country along our borders are a very, very vulnerable feature for us. And if you notice the very exploitative nature of extremists, these things are a big problem for us. And we need to do everything possible to resolve these conflicts within our borders.
And
Beyond that,
everything possible includes what and what on the ECOWAS sub-region and in Ghana specifically.
And so we are looking at the pervasive local ethnic chieftaincy conflicts over resources and land disputes. These are very, very common within the sub-region, not just Ghana. And extremists are taking advantage of this. They are exploiting these vulnerabilities and recruiting vulnerable young people, local community members into their fold. And so these are very, very big situations of insecurity in terms of the local conflicts. We need to do more in terms of issues relating to governance deficits. We're talking about development challenges relating to the provision of social services like water, good access roads and water, education, healthcare facilities, and more importantly, providing opportunities for young people. Youth unemployment is a huge, huge factor within the region. If you look at the 3 countries that have experienced coups in the last 18 months, 20 months, all these countries rank very low within the Human Development Index. And it tells you the vulnerability of these countries and that these coup situations were not surprising at all. And so we need to pay attention to these things. You hear the minister talk about issues relating to intelligence sharing and cooperation with member countries. We have structural challenges with information sharing and interagency coordination. These things need to be worked at to ensure that the seamless flow of information, coordination, and cooperation to deal with it as a large, common, one unified unit against violent extremism. Otherwise, we are getting into a much more vulnerable situation for us as a country and as a region.
Right. Executive Director at West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism, Mutaru Momoni. Mukhtar, thank you for your time and thanks for speaking to us here on Metro TV. We'll also explore that and bring you later updates. Watch your communities and make sure you are not actually breeding grounds for extremism. Now, some communication analysts have also rubbished what they claim is government's desperate attempts to absolve itself from blame over the country's massive drop in the latest World Press Freedom Index. Government on Wednesday attributed Ghana's poor ranking in the Reporters Without Borders 2022 World Press Freedom Index to a change in the methodology.
In 30 places in the 2022 World Press Freedom Index has set tongues wagging. The country is placed 60th on the world ranking and has moved to 9th in Africa from a previous 3rd. Neighboring Burkina Faso, which has been under military rule since January this year, is ahead of Ghana at 41st in the world and 5th in Africa. But government has since attributed Ghana's position on the Press Freedom League table to a change in methodology. In a statement signed by the Information Minister Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, government claims the new methodology has pushed countries like Netherlands, Jamaica, Switzerland, and New Zealand out of the top 10. Government also said the report throws light on a new concerning development in media landscape such as opinion media, propaganda, disinformation, and fake news. A deputy minister for information, Fatimatu Abubakar, has argued government can't fully be blamed for Ghana's showing in the rankings.
Government is putting in the necessary steps, including taking input from technocrats and industry experts to facilitate the passage of the broadcasting bill. The key issues in the past year that have contributed to Ghana's recent critique are matters that require some more engagement of security agencies and the general public. Attacks by some youth of Ada on a radio station, acts of some overzealous policemen in handling some cases of journalists suspected to be involved in crimes are not the doing of government.
But a senior programs officer for freedom of expression at the Media Foundation for West Africa, Muhib Said, says the claims by government are just face-saving gimmicks.
As the government that supervised this sharp decline in our freedom rating to do everything possible to kind of paper it over. I don't think that it matters that the methodology changed. It wasn't changed for Ghana alone. It was changed for all the other countries who were featured in the report. Moreover, the essential indicator, as far as we as a press freedom organization, and I believe the media fraternity in a country is concerned, is the indicator about safety of journalists. And we perform poorly as far as that indicator is concerned.
What could be the key to improving on the country's abysmal performance on the rankings? Muhib Said outlines some suggestions.
A certain number of measures have been outlined in the report, but I think it is the detail that would be able to show whether it will go far enough to change anything or not. The attitude of government towards critical reporting would also be very crucial as far as how we are going to place in subsequent editions of the rankings are concerned. If it is just a political gimmick to kind of give the impression that government is doing something about the issue, then of course it is not going to yield anything. If it is a sincere initiative born out of the will, the political will to improve the safety of journalists' situation, then I believe that we can all work together and pull Ghana back from the brink.
The Media Foundation for West Africa, however, believes government-proposed steps to reverse the trend is welcoming. Henry Kwesi Bedu, Metro News, Accra.
You're also watching News Night here on Metro TV. We'll go for a breather. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to News Night here on Metro TV. Now let's do some more developmental stories. And the MC for the West, Clement Wilkinson, has assured onion sellers at Ajen Kotoku that the Greater Accra region, that the government is working to improve the road network leading to the market. Now the traders had agitated and told Metro News that all efforts to get some attention paid to the roads linking them to the rest of the country have failed.
In July 2021, the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, as part of its Let's Make Greater Accra Work initiative and a quest to decongest the capital city, relocated all bulk breaking traders operating at Agbogblonshin to the Ajen Kotoku market in the Ga West municipality. The traders moved with hope for better prospects. Almost a year on, however, lack of basic amenities in and around the new market has left them frustrated. Key of the challenges is poor road network, making many of these traders and truck drivers run at a loss.
The road is badly affecting our business because now if you look at the road, the road is at a poor stage. Women coming to buy onion, it's been a difficult task for them. Your car will spoil 2 times on the road before you get to your destination. We complained this several times, but they refuse to even come to our aid.
Is that the case? So the response is unanimous.
Equally affected by the bad rota officials of a clinic, a police and fire stations nearby.
Let's look. There's just a fire service station just around here. There's a Kotoku Medical Center, and even police station is also here. So should we have any emergency that we have to transfer the person to either in Sawam Hospital or Achimota, on which road are we handling these people?
So the chorus here is that why no nye nana beye amaye. That's the general call, that the road is bad. and that government should come in and have it fixed for them.
Responding to the concerns, Municipal Chief Executive for Ga West, Clement Wilkinson, said the condition the traders find themselves in now is better than it was at the old site at Agbogblonshin. He therefore charged them to wait on government to provide all the amenities they needed.
Agyen Kotoku they should relax. They are in heaven. No, they are in Canaan, where they were, Agbogblonshin, Sodom and Gomorrah, and now they are in Canaan. They are enjoying. So they should be there. They should keep quiet and everything will be fixed for them. As I speak, last week we had a meeting with the regional minister and the highway minister, which I know it is in the pipeline. It's on cost. So Agyen Kotoku, the people in Agyen Kotoku, especially the onion sellers, I'm telling you for the fact that that promise will be fulfilled.
For the traders, though, trust very little of promises from politicians. They hope their voices will be heard and their needs attended to. From Agyen Kotoku in the Ga West municipality, this is Gabriel Ni Obodai Togba Ashon reporting.
Now, a driver's mate believed to be in his late 20s has died in an accident at Gomwa Ochrekun on the Winneba-Kaswa Highway. 2 other passengers who got severely injured are also receiving treatment at the Winneba Trauma and Specialist Hospital. The following report has more by Central Regional Correspondent Akwesi Ado.
Around 12:58 p.m. this afternoon, we received a phone call about a vehicle involved in an accident on the Gomwa Ochrekun Road. So we dispatched our personnel to the scene. Upon arrival, they noticed a Sprinter bus with registration number GH9105-20 was involved in the accident. The Sprinter bus burst a tire and lost control of the car and collided into a light pole. The bus conductor unfortunately died on the spot, but the driver and the passenger survived the accident. The driver confessed to my men that the bus was overloaded.
We are about 12:58, and I call say car be enyankunshia or Gomwa Ochrekun.
Around 12:58 p.m. this afternoon, we received a phone call about a vehicle involved in an accident on the Gomwa Ochrekun Road. So we dispatched our personnel to the scene. Upon arrival, they noticed a Sprinter bus with registration number GH9105-20 was involved in the accident. The Sprinter bus burst a tire and lost control of the car and collided.
All right, you're welcome. But now let's do some educational stories. And the Vice Chancellor of the University of Development Studies, Professor Gabriel Ayum-Tay, has announced an initiative to help integrate Ghanaian students who returned from Ukraine into the UDS School of Medicine to continue their health professional education. The initiative is dubbed Special Education Project and will also create an opportunity for all Africa Health Professional Studies students who were displaced as a result of the Ukraine-Russia war to continue their studies. The Vice Chancellor of UDS, Professor Gabriel Ayum-Tay, who announced the initiative to absorb students from Ukraine, indicated that the university, together with its partners, will in the coming months roll out details on the enrollment and implementation of the supports to the affected students. He said the initiative was aimed at providing continuity to the interrupted health professional education for the students, adding that adequate measures had been put in place to ensure their successful enrollment. Let's now get onto the phone lines and speak to the head of communication at the University for Development Studies, Abdul Hai Mumin, on this development. Abdul, thank you for your time and you're welcome to News Night. So how far have we gone with this arrangement?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. I must say that this arrangement is still in its very infant stages. The announcement has now been made. And as the Vice Chancellor announced on Saturday during the congregation, the details will come out in the coming weeks. And so for now, I can guarantee and I can assure you that this program has come to stay, but also it is here, and the details will come out in the subsequent weeks, and we'll ensure that as soon as that information is available, we will release it to the media, including Metro TV.
So we had reports earlier on that some of these students we were able to, save back home were complaining upon coming face to face to the reality of the situation in Ghana. They were complaining and regretted actually coming back home. Do we have some of them, among these students who are willing, or maybe they are being forced to continue with education because of the nature of what they're pursuing?
Well, to the extent that these students are not children, these are adults in question who went to Ukraine on their own volition, some of them on scholarship, but scholarship which wasn't imposed on them. They have the freedom and the liberty to interpret situations as they deem fit. However, from where I sit and working with the data provided, first of all, by the Vice Chancellor of the University for Development Studies, but also backed by data and information from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. I'm sure you are quite aware that the ministry has made us all aware that more than 500 Ghanaian students were in Ukraine. All of them are now facing displacement. We know that for a fact. What we also do know for a fact is that their education has been truncated. We also do know for a fact that many of these students are on scholarship that is funded by you and I and the ordinary Ghanaian taxpayer. And should their education truncate at this point, what it would mean is that many of these students are almost done with their studies, really. And so if we allow their education to be truncated at this point in time, we would then have wasted money. And so, yes, in the wisdom of the University for Development Studies and its management, the best way to reach out to these students and also be socially responsible is to extend this hand of invitation to these students. Those who are eligible and those who are willing are by all means welcome to access this program when the details are fully rolled out. However, talking about those who are saying they regret returning home, I don't speak for them, and they are free to think whichever direction they want to think. What I am here to do tonight is to assure you that the UDS School of Medicine, the dean of that school in particular, he just became a full professor less than a week ago. He was a student in Ukraine himself, taken on by the UDS and the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and has risen through the ranks to become the dean of the School of Medicine. And so we find that Ukraine has training for some of the best brains. UDS, having benefited from one of such best brains, just feel that we cannot and we will not sit down and allow such best brains to have their education truncated because of war. And so we are reaching out to such students.
Right. Abdul Haimumin, thank you for speaking to us here on Newsnight. And he is the head of communications at the Communications Department of UDS. Now, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says measures are being put in place to strengthen Ghana's insurance industry through digital means. He was speaking at this year's West Africa Insurance Companies Association conference in Accra.
Founded in 1973, the West African Insurance Companies Association is the umbrella body for all insurance regulatory institutions in West Africa. This year's annual general meeting and conference brought together various players in the insurance sector in the sub-region. President of the association stressed the need for countries of Anglophone zone to speed up harmonization and integration of the insurance sector.
Product innovation, digitalization, and adaptation to new distribution channels using mobile technologies, telcos, virtual meetings, telecommuting, and call centers are the future. These activities will position us for the new realities, allow uninterrupted support for marketing, sales, claims, transaction activities, and facilitate the integration and harmonization of markets in our sub-region.
Ghana's Commissioner of Insurance believes the recapitalization will enhance and make the sector more profitable.
The ongoing recapitalization of the market remains one of NIC's crucial projects, as we believe that its implementation will set the platform for marked growth and profitability of companies within the industry. With the advent of the Motor Insurance Database, MID, motor insurance is underwritten and sold on a digital platform, and this has increased motor insurance premiums significantly. The NIC is also working keenly with partner stakeholders, such as the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana National Fire Service, Ghana Shippers Authority, etc., to enforce the implementation of the various compulsory insurances.
Having recorded growth and increased penetration over the last 2 years, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia says government will deploy more digital tools to strengthen the sector.
The vision of government for the insurance industry is to modernize the provision of insurance services through digitalization, to improve on the micro and agricultural insurance products, to expand access and strengthen the balance sheet of the industry.
He said government is in the process of synchronizing the database of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority with that of the National Insurance Commission.
This singular act of implementing the motor insurance database has led to the growth of the motor insurance industry from 19% in 2019 to 37% in 2020 and 26% in 21. The value of the business undertaking has also increased from 566 million Ghana cedis in 2017 to 2.3 billion Ghana cedis in 2021. One of the areas that we are yet to complete is the integration of the Drivers and Vehicle Licensing Authority database with the National Insurance Commission database. And I think this is what I'm working on now with them, and we will get it done.
The West African Insurance Companies Association says it is working towards a borderless and harmonized West Africa.
Well, you're still watching News Tonight. It's time for us to take another break. We'll be back. And Winston Taki is standing by for some more details. Winston, you're welcome. Good evening.
Yeah, it's time to bring your business right after this. And now to a first business story. Ghana's economy is expected to become the 12th fastest growing economy in sub-Saharan Africa in 2022 with an expected growth rate of 5.2%. This was contained in an IMF Regional Economic Report released this week.
In West Africa, the nation will place sixth, again with Cape Verde. This will place the country at a joint 12th position with Cape Verde among League of Sub-Saharan African economies. The 2.5% expected expansion in the economy in 2022 will be slightly lower than the gross domestic product growth rate recorded in 2021. In 2021, the International Monetary Fund projected a growth rate of 4.2%, but the economy expanded by 5.4%, according to provisional estimates from the Ghana Statistical Service. This was as a result of strong growth in the services sector, 9.4%, particularly information, communication and technology with 33.1%, and agriculture, 8.4%, particularly the fisheries, 13.4% subsector. In 2023, the fund forecast a growth rate of 5.1%, which will place the country in the 21st position in the League of African Economies. This is due to expected strong growth rate by most African countries. In 2022, Niger will become the fastest growing economy in sub-Saharan Africa with a growth rate of 6.9%, while Senegal will lead the League of African Economies in 2023 with 9.2% in the economy.
Now, away from that, the Executive Director for the Center for Natural Resources and Environmental Management, Solomon Kwaokume, says the nation has greatly been shortchanged in its projected revenue from Jubilee Field, which should have been in the regions of $14.5 billion instead of the recorded revenue of $4.7 billion after 10 years of oil exploration.
Using the inflated capital development cost of the $8.47 billion presented to the Council of State on 27 February 2018, plus the projected operational cost of $3.435 billion for 23 years, the contractor parties have collectively evaded in total $1.833 billion income tax paid and short payment of over $49 million in royalties as of December 2020, totaling $1.882 billion lost to Ghana. This is more than 2 years e-levy revenue the government wants to generate for development. All this, what we are telling you, from our observations, we have noticed the powers that be and the regulatory bodies in charge of our petroleum oil industry are covering up these debts by the contractor parties, that is the foreign oil companies, despite the fact that we have duly brought these to the notices to them as citizens.
Let us now bring you how the city is performing against major global currencies and also the price of commodities across the world. That'll be all for business here on Newsnight. My name is Winston Taki, and he's standing by for the rest of the bulletin.
Right, thank you, Winston, for that. Now let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll give you some sports updates as well.
My name is Phil John Quarty, and it's time for sports. By any last minute each, the leadership of the Ghana Football Association, led by the Executive Council, is expected to maintain all technical men of the senior national team. They is sitting on your screens over there, led by Otoado. We're being told information we are picking from the head office of the Ghana Football Association indicates that Otoada will be maintained as the head coach of the Black Stars. The technical head will still be Chris Hilton, whilst the likes of Judge Boatin and Mashudu Didi Dramani will all be technical and assistant managers of the FA. That is the news we are picking up this afternoon from the leadership of the FA. Otoada over there, we're being told that he has agreed with German side Borussia Dortmund to take Ghana to the African Cup of Nations and also to the World Cup to play in Qatar. So that is the biggest news. The FA is to maintain the men that qualify Ghana to the World Cup after beating Nigeria in that two-legged tie. Let's bring you results of Europa matches going on currently. Eintracht Frankfurt are leading West Ham by 1-0 on aggregate is 3-1 in favor of the German teams. Then in Scotland, Rangers are also leading Leipzig by 2-0. Marseille are drawing goalless with final, whilst Roma are in the Italian capital. They are playing against Leipzig. It's 1-0 for Jose Mourinho's team. That's it. Updates on the Europa Conference and the matches over there in Europe. That's your sports. My name is Phil John Quarty. You are smiling and ready for showbiz.
Thank you, Phil. It's time for entertainment news. My name is Asiodua Akumia. Universal Music Group and subsidiary Def Jam Recordings Africa has officially introduced Stonebwoy as a part of their music family. The official presentation of the Beam Nation president was done earlier today at a press meeting.
The press meeting followed Wednesday's announcement of the reggae dancehall superstar as the latest recruit to Def Jam Recordings Africa, a subsidiary of Universal Music Group. The event was attended by Stonebwoy, his management team, representatives of Def Jam Recordings Africa, Universal Music, showbiz stakeholders, and the press. Speaking at the event, Def Jam Africa's representative Lerato Mosepe said they are committed to ensure Stonebwoy goes global with this deal.
We want him to headline the biggest global concerts, to be a household name, and hold a Grammy if not a couple, an event.
Stonebwoy, speaking to the audience, said he was elated about the deal and is counting on Ghanaians for their support.
We're going to go to the next levels. Trust you me, there's nothing we can do about it, but we all just have to support so that the door opens and opens for more and more and more of us. It can never be done by one person, but it can be started by one person. I beg that we as Ghanaians drop our ancient character of and so what, and hold it with the new character of yes, this is ours.
The activated maker has already released a single titled Therapy since joining Def Jam Recordings Africa and is expected to release 3 albums under this deal. Some industry personalities share their thoughts about Stonebwoy's new deal with Metro News.
I'm excited that Stonebwoy, finally has he's garnered resources by signing to Universal Music. I feel like it's going to take him to the next level, looking at the people involved in the deal.
And the major labels recognize what you have, which means they've seen the potential for, and they are always searching. They are always searching for potential for people that will sell out arenas in the most expensive markets or the most lucrative markets in music. And these deals are just pointing out the way that our local talents have developed themselves. But it's also a testament to the fact that Stonebwoy has been doing music for decades, and it's now that he didn't start, they didn't break him, they are coming to build on it.
Well, congratulations to Stonebwoy. Now, fast-rising rapper Gambo has emerged as the 23rd Vodafone Ghana Music Awards Unsung Artist of the Year after a tight tussle with several others. As announced hours ago by the official socials of the VGMA, Gambo beat the likes of King Maga, Amanova, Sugar Lord, Brian the Mensa, among several others. He is the voice behind tunes such as Drip featuring Edem, Boys Are Wild, No Stress, among others. Well, congrats to Gambo as well. That's it for entertainment news. My name is Asiodua Akumia. Annie?
Thank you, Asiodua, for that details of the entertainment stories. Now let's go to the international front. Now, on the international front, the city of Baghdad has been engulfed by a dust storm today, the latest in its series of storms that have become an increasingly common sight in the country. Dozens were hospitalized with respiratory issues as the thick orange smoke swept through the country, decreasing visibility and bringing air traffic to half a few hours at the storm's peak. Iraqi residents believe the cause of the storm is decreased rainfall and droughts. More than 90 people have been registered in the emergency ward of the Sheikh Zayed Hospital over the past few days, said ward manager Dr. Wamin Abdulada. Now, many received oxygen and were subsequently changed. Dust storms have become a more frequent occurrence in Iraq, with experts blaming this on climate change and mismanagement of land and water. And that's what we have for you this evening. We came to you live from the Akua Boahema studio at North Ridge. This has been News Night. Thank you for watching. My name is Annie for Amplify.